I never thought a single night could unravel my entire life. I'm Jessica, a 44-year-old wife and graphic designer, trapped in the quiet comfort of a suburban marriage outside Chicago. 18 years with Mark felt safe, predictable, until a text from his charismatic best friend, Ryan, ignited a spark I didn't know still burned inside me. A night out at a pulsing downtown club promised a taste of the wild past, but as the neon lights flashed and the bass thumped, something dangerous stirred. Now, in the suffocating silence of my own home, I'm drowning in a secret that could shatter everything I've built. What did I let happen while Mark slept upstairs? Picture this: the faint hum of a suburban evening, the kind where the world seems to slow down just enough for you to notice the quiet. I'm Jessica, 44 years old, sitting in my living room just outside Chicago, where the glow of the TV flickers across the walls like a lazy heartbeat. I've been married to Mark for 18 years now. He's 46, a financial advisor with a steady hand and an even steadier routine. He's the kind of man who finds comfort in predictability. Loving, yes, but sometimes I catch myself wondering if we've forgotten how to surprise each other. We've built a life here, a comfortable one, with neat hedges and a mortgage we can manage. I work part-time as a graphic designer from home, sketching out logos and layouts while the coffee brews. It's flexible, sure, but there are days when the silence of my home office feels heavier than I'd like, and I find myself itching for something, anything, to break the monotony. Then there's Ryan, Mark's best friend since their college days. At 45, he's still single, a whirlwind of charisma and untamed energy. Ryan's the guy who walks into a room and owns it, his laugh loud enough to drown out any awkward silence. He's a free spirit, always spinning tales of spontaneous road trips or dragging up old stories that make us ache for the reckless days of our youth. I've always been drawn to his confidence, that effortless way he seems to live without a script. Not that I've ever let my mind wander too far down that road, just a quiet curiosity, a flicker of what if that I tuck away as soon as it surfaces. Tonight, everything changed with a single text. Ryan's name popped up on my phone, his message bursting with that familiar energy. He invited us to hit up Neon Pulse, this trendy downtown club we used to haunt back in our 20s. "Let's relive the good old days," he wrote, and I could almost hear his mischievous grin through the screen. My heart did a little flip. Excitement, sure, but laced with a nervous edge I couldn't quite shake. It's been years since I've stepped into a place like that, and the thought of diving back into those wild nights felt like slipping into a skin I wasn't sure still fit. I headed to my closet, fingers trembling just a bit as I sifted through hangers of sensible cardigans and work blouses. Then I found it, a sleek black dress, tucked away like a secret I'd forgotten I kept. I pulled it on, the fabric hugging me in ways that made me catch my breath, and paired it with heels that stretched my legs into something I barely recognized in the mirror. I felt a rush, a mix of daring and doubt, wondering if I could still pull this off. Mark caught me preening and grumbled from the doorway. "I'm too old for clubs, Jess. Can't we just stay in?" His voice had that tired edge, but I turned to him with a playful nudge, a smile tugging at my lips. "Come on, remember how much fun we used to have? One night won't kill us." He sighed, but I saw the flicker of nostalgia in his eyes, and soon enough, he was shrugging on a jacket.
The drive to Neon Pulse was electric, the crisp Friday air buzzing with anticipation as we pulled into the parking lot of Neon Pulse. The bass thumped through the walls, vibrating in my chest as we stepped inside, the neon lights painting everything in electric hues of pink and blue. I could feel the energy of the place wrapping around me, pulling me back to a time when nights like this were everything. Mark, Ryan, and I found a spot near the bar, the crowd pulsing around us, and for a moment, it felt like we'd turned back the clock. But things spiraled fast. Within the first hour, Mark was already overdoing it. I watched, a knot forming in my stomach, as he slammed back shot after shot, Ryan cheering him on with that wild grin of his. Mark's speech started to slur, his eyes glazing over like he was somewhere else entirely. I reached out, trying to slow him down, my voice barely cutting through the music. "Hey, take it easy, okay?" but before I could pull the glass from his hand, his legs gave out. He stumbled hard, collapsing under the bar counter with a dull thud. My heart stopped. I dropped to my knees mortified, shaking his shoulder, calling his name over the deafening beat. He was out cold, unresponsive, just a heap on the sticky floor. Panic clawed at me, but Ryan just chuckled, shrugging it off like it was nothing. "Man, he's always been a lightweight," he said, his tone too casual for my liking. Still, he helped me drag Mark to a safer spot, propping him against the wall where he wouldn't get trampled. I hovered for a moment, brushing hair from Mark's face, but he didn't stir. The music kept blaring, the crowd oblivious to my little crisis. I stood up, shaky, and that's when Ryan turned to me. His eyes locked onto mine, and there was something different in them, something intense, almost hungry. My breath caught as he handed me a cocktail, this bright blue thing that shimmered under the lights. "Relax a little," he said, his voice low, and as I took the glass, his arm slid around my waist. I froze. After that charged moment by the bar, the air between Ryan and me felt like it was crackling with something dangerous, something I couldn't name out loud. We made our way back to the main area from the restroom, neither of us daring to look at the other. My legs felt unsteady, like the ground beneath me had shifted, and I kept my eyes fixed on the sticky floor, avoiding the weight of his presence beside me. The noise of the club washed over us again, but it couldn't drown out the deafening silence hanging between us. I could still feel the ghost of his touch, the heat of a moment I knew I shouldn't have let happen, burning under my skin. We reached the spot where Mark was still slumped against the wall, completely out of it, his chest rising and falling with uneven breaths. I crouched down, my hands trembling as I checked on him, brushing a damp strand of hair from his forehead. He didn't even flinch, lost in whatever haze he'd drowned himself in tonight. Ryan stood over us, hands in his pockets, acting like nothing had just shifted in the universe. He let out a low chuckle, nudging Mark's leg with his boot. "Listen to that snoring. Guy sounds like a chainsaw. Never could hold his liquor." His voice was light, almost mocking, and it grated on me, how easily he could brush everything aside. I didn't respond, couldn't find the words, my mind still spinning from the whirlwind of what had transpired minutes ago. My heart was a drum in my chest, pounding out a rhythm of guilt and confusion. All I could think about was how close I'd come to crossing a line I couldn't uncross, and how a part of me had wanted to.
"We should get him home," I finally muttered, my voice barely above a whisper, afraid it might crack if I spoke any louder. Ryan nodded, and together we hoisted Mark up, his dead weight sagging between us. It was a clumsy struggle, half carrying, half dragging him through the crowd, his feet scuffing the floor as people parted just enough to let us through. My arms ached under the strain, but it was nothing compared. It's late, so late that the world outside feels like it's holding its breath. We got Mark home somehow, after that messy struggle through the club, and now he's sprawled across our bed upstairs, still lost in a drunken stupor, his breathing heavy and uneven. I should be up there with him, making sure he's okay. But instead, I'm down here in the living room, sitting on the couch with Ryan. The house is eerily quiet, save for the faint ticking of the old clock on the mantel, each second stretching out like it's daring me to make a choice.
The dim light from a single lamp casts long shadows across the room, and I can feel the weight of everything unsaid pressing down on me. Ryan's beside me, closer than he should be, and I'm hyper-aware of every inch of space, or lack of it, between us. We're pretending to talk, tossing out meaningless words about the night, about old times. But it's all just noise to fill the void. Then his hand brushes mine, just a fleeting touch, but it's enough to send a jolt through me, like a spark igniting something I've tried so hard to smother.
I turn to look at him, and his eyes are already on me, dark and searching, peeling back layers I've kept hidden for years. My heart's racing, and I know I should pull away, stand up, end this before it goes any further. But I don't. Instead, I let the silence swallow us, and in that moment, I admit it to myself. I want this. I want to feel something again, even if it's wrong, even if it tears me apart. The tension snaps like a taut wire, and before I can think better of it, we're closer, the space between us vanishing. The couch creaks under our weight as we give in, the night wrapping around us like a secret we can't escape. I'm careful, so careful, muffling every breath, every sound, terrified that any noise might drift upstairs and shatter the fragile illusion I'm clinging to. Ryan's whispers cut through the quiet, low and rough, a mix of danger and solace. The dawn creeps in, pale and unforgiving, as I stand at the front door, my arms crossed tight against my chest. Ryan's there, lingering on the porch, his jacket slung over one shoulder like he's in no rush to leave. I can barely look at him, my voice clipped as I mutter a quick, "Thanks for helping with Mark. You should go." He nods, his face a mask I can't read. No smirk, no regret, just a blank slate that leaves me uneasy. I watch as he turns, heads to his car, and drives off into the gray morning, the taillights disappearing around the corner. I shut the door with a soft click, the sound echoing in the stillness, and lean against it for a moment, my breath shallow, like I'm afraid to disturb the air. Back inside, the house feels like a tomb, unnaturally quiet after the chaos of the night. Every creak of the floorboards under my feet sounds too loud as I climb the stairs, my legs heavy with exhaustion. I peek into the bedroom, and there's Mark, still sprawled across the bed, lost to the world, his snores a low rumble in the dim light. He has no idea, no clue about the storm that's torn through me while he slept. I stand there, watching him, a pang of guilt twisting in my gut, but I push it down, not ready to face it yet. I shuffle to the bathroom, needing something, anything, to anchor me. I flick on the light, wincing at the harsh glare, and go through the motions like a robot. I grab my toothbrush, squeeze out too much paste, and scrub until my gums ache, the minty burn a small distraction. Then I splash cold water on my face, letting it drip down my chin, hoping it'll wash away the weight of what I've done. I grip the edge of the sink and stare into the mirror, but the woman looking back isn't me, or at least not the me I thought I knew. My eyes are hollow, shadowed with something I can't name, and my reflection feels like a stranger's, accusing me in silence. I drag don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.